Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Agribisnis Kelas B Palembang. We make this video to complete final exams for English course. In here, we want to explain about incomplete independent clauses. Before we start, I want to introduce myself and my friend. My name is Muhammad Triyoga.
Hello, my name is Agus Paristo.
Hello, my name is Muhammad Samsu Arya Abdillah.
Hello, my name is Fadhil Alfaris Ghazani.
Okay, let's restart.
Independent clause is a clause that can stand on its own by itself. It doesn't need to be joined to any other clause because it contains all the information necessary to be a complete sentence. The second, dependent clause is a clause that doesn't express a conflict. A clause can be dependent because of the presence of a junction and it must be joined to another clause in order to creating a sentence fragment.
First of all, a sentence must have an independent clause, which can stand alone. It may have one or more dependent clause as well. Dependent clause cannot stand alone. Review. A clause is a group of words that has a subject and a verb. The difference between an independent and a dependent clause is the type of word it starts with. A dependent clause starts with a subordinator word such as when, if, or which. Example: number 1. When Ronnie gets here. Number 2. If Dennis comes to class late. Number 3. Which I bought last weekend. An independent clause can stand alone as a separate sentence and does not start with a subordinator. Example: number 1. Let's start the music. Number 2. I'll tell her the assignment. Number 3. The battery is defective. Every sentence must have at least one independent clause. Next, what is the difference between phrase and clause? When you hear this question, you must be thinking about word and center, and of course I must to say it is right because the things are connected. What is phrase? Phrase is a group of words without subject and predicate, while clause is a group from words that has both subject and predicate. Kind of phrase are two independent clause and independent clause. Independent clause is a clause that can stand on its own by itself. It doesn't need to be joined to any other clause because it contains all the information necessary to be a complete sentence. Dependent clause is a clause that doesn't express a conflict, though a clause can be dependent because of the presence of a junction and it must be joined to another clause in order to creating a sentence fragment. The condition for the formation of a clause are the existence of a subject and a verb. Example: number 1. My little sister cried. Number 2. I'm eating. Number 3. They went to Bali. When we see some compound words that do not contain a subject and a verb, the sequence is not a clause. It is a phrase or phrase. Example: number 1. In the afternoon. Number 2. 1 pack of chicken nugget. Number 3. On Thursday the 22.
A dependent clause is combined with an independent clause to make a longer sentence. Example 1. When Ronnie gets here, let's start the music. 2. If Dennis comes to class late, I will tell her the assignment. 3. The battery which I bought last weekend is defective. These example sentences with two clauses are called complex sentences. They have both an independent and a dependent clause. Sometimes two independent clauses are put together to make a longer sentence. This is done with comma and a fine conjunction. Example: dogs bark and cats meow. The weather is beautiful today, so I will take a walk. These examples are called compound sentences. A sentence can be both compound and complex. Example: when cats meow, dogs bark, and birds chirp.
More about subordinator and dependent clause. Subordinator solve as if when sincere because and a top star adverb dependent clause. Example number 1. Since the cat is meowing, the dog is barking. Number 2. I'll take a call because the weather is beautiful. Number 3. I smashed my car into an oak tree after went to the store.
Subordinator such as who, which, that, and one start adjective dependent clause. Example: number 1. My cat who is soft and sweet has dog. Number 2. The force that is on the corner has been robbed 5 times. Number 3. The weather which is beautiful makes me want to take a walk. Please remember that a dependent clause is not considered a complete thought and cannot be a sentence by itself. A dependent clause is a sentence fragment if it is not connected to an independent clause.
Sentence type consisting of one independent clause is called simple sentence, while if there are two independent clauses it is called a compound sentence. If there is one independent clause and a dependent clause, that type of sentence is called a complex sentence. Meanwhile, if the sentence contains at least two independent clause and one independent clause, the sentence type is called a compound complex sentence. In simple terms, the type of English sentence can describe as follows: simple sentence with independent clause, compound sentence, independent clause plus ordinate conjunction or semicolon plus conjunctive verb plus independent clause, complex sentence with independent clause plus independent clause, compound complex sentence with compound sentence plus complex sentence.
Confirm sentence or a component sentence. Confirm sentence or a component sentence consisting of two are compensating a more independent types of sentence whose mention is to connect to our more independent sentence with the clause conjunction. In compound, using for example and, but, or for, and others. Example 1. Tina and Amel wake up at 5 a.m. and they go to school at 7 a.m. We can see in this example the sentence use conjunction as a second conjunction. While we know The common sentence is divided into three. The first conjunction adverb is one that useful for connecting the independent clause word with logically, for example. However, nevertheless, next, Marvel, and also usually this conjunction or appears at the beginning, at the end, or sentence. I'm not really hungry. However, I want some ice cream. Independent clause is phrase that would make sense if it were a sentence on its own, whereas dependent clauses will not form a sentence on its own when these two types of clauses appear in sentence. We create a complex sentence, usually complex sentence begins with a subordinate conjunction. The structure for a complex sentence essentially looks like subordinate conjunction plus dependent clauses plus independent clause. Splits the clause, and the second is independent clause, the subordinate conjunction plus dependent clause, usually done the clause.
A clause with there and it. 1. There and it is the meaningless word or expletive. 2. There and it serve to change the position of the subject in a sentence. The expletive there. 1. It shows that someone or something exists, usually particular time or place. The expletive there or with particular time. Example: there was a good movie on television last night. The structure of the sentence is there as an expletive or subject, was as a verb to be, movie on television as a noun, and last night as a particular time. Other example: 1. There were a lot of students here yesterday. 2. There is going to be a party tonight. The expletive there or with particular place. Example: 1. There are many skyscrapers in New York City. 2. There are students in the class. 3. There is nobody there. The expletive it is used to change the function of subject from the sentences, and it's used a number of different situations and patterns. Example: 1. It is Mary. 2. It is cold outside. 3. It is Wednesday. Here are some examples of independent clause question. Number 1. I wash my towels every week. The formula is transitive verb plus direct object plus adverb. Number 2. He never comes late. The formula is adverb plus intransitive verb plus adverb. Number 3. She's a student. The formula is linking verb plus noun. Number 4. I want ice cream but I'm on a diet. The formula is compound sentence dengan koordinat conjunction but. Next example: Number 1. I like ice cream that contains no milk. Information. Independent clause as a I like ice cream. Dependent clause, adjective clause as a that contains no milk. Number 2. While I was swimming in the pool, I kept sneezing and got runny nose, but I didn't experience hive. Information. Independent clause as a 1. I kept sneezing and got runny nose. 2. I didn't experience hive. Dependent clause, adverbial clause as a while I was swimming in the pool.
So, now do you understand about incremented independent clause? Good. If you already understand, I hope you can master it even more.
Okay, thank you very much for your great attention, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your listening. See you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
I just wanna see the light.